is Talk Off. Talk Off is a podcast with the three of us,
Vinci,
Datta.
Ranu.
We sit down and catch up on what we've been up to. We talk about things we learned and stuffs we discovered, and also maybe share our personal stories, and also everything and anything that comes in between. This is a space for us to hang out, and disclaimer for you guys, nothing we discuss here is meant to offend anyone, and nor are we claiming to be the absolute gurus in any subject we discuss. We are really open to change because at the end we're just some couple of 20-year-olds sitting down, sipping cup of coffees and figuring out life.
So why we start this? Because she gave an idea, Datta, but then I felt I agree with her idea because I felt every time we sit together, we discuss about something, I come up with something that really I learned something out of it, or I changed my opinion about something. So every time we sit together, I learned something.
For me, it was just hanging out with them. I really enjoyed it. And then Datta brought this up. She's like, we should record it because every time we talk, it was very informative. And I felt like, I am willing to do it because. So I thought it would be a good idea to.
For me, I felt like we sit down a lot and we keep talking a lot. So I felt like we should document it more like as a memory. And also I wanted a reason for all of us to keep catching up and having these kind of conversations even after we graduate, because we're coming to the end and I know that we'll be going separate ways, but I don't want to stop doing this. So maybe as a podcast we can keep continuing this. So it was just that for me.
We met, Datta and me, we met on the first day of our college 4 years back. Ranno joined 1 month later, and then we got to know her. Datta and me, we're from the same country too, so that's why there was an immediate connection. Ranno
is
from
one different continent.
No,
from the same continent,
but very far away.
So
that was interesting.
So Rana, you were about to tell us why you were late, no?
Why I'm late? I came here and I learned English and I joined one college. So that college was university. So basically, in my country, right, if I go back, I can't work if it's university. It should be under Rajiv Gandhi. So I did not get admission after I joined that college. So I have to put my name in waiting list and wait till somebody leave, then I joined. That's why I came 1 month and a half late.
So for me, I got Vinci from her roommate. Her roommate was my best friend, and so that's how I got to know her. And I used to be in their room all the time. And about Rano, it just happened. I mean, I saw her coming to the class. She came in the afternoon or something. She came after lunch break, and then I was like, who's this person? Because
she had a very loud
different
character.
She was very quiet.
Really?
She was very quiet.
I was very quiet.
I felt like she was very confident, and then she came in marching, and she sat somewhere, and everyone was trying to, they were giving
everybody was listening.
I remember when I first saw her, right? I felt like she's so different. She looked so different than how we all look. And I was like, I didn't know people come
different,
from. I mean, I did see a lot of people from other places around, but still I was a little bit thrown off, in my class, like that. And that was the only time I felt you were different than me. But then from, I think, the second day, I was so used to
we're all in the same hostel. So I think that's also why we spend a lot of time together. So in the kitchen especially, we would all meet there and go to each other's room.
And then I think I think how I met Vinci, it was she used to be beside my room when I shifted my room. So if I need anything, I'll just go see, and then it was this is so different for me, English so I used to always go to you or to her room. Then I got to know you guys. I remember when first time I came to your room in the hostel.
Yeah, even me.
You know, they opened the door and they don't know me because I wasn't with hijab. So they were like, and they called me. Okay, they told me come. When I went, it was like they are looking at me. Like, what do you want?
No, it was like a graduation thingy was coming up, no?
Yeah.
And then we were all dressing up, and then me and my roommate then, we were like, wait, should we call her? And then we were like, okay, yeah, we'll call her. Then I texted you.
Yeah.
And then you just came, and then we were again shocked. Then I remember I asked, like, can I touch your hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like I asked her, and then she let me do that. Since we're in the same class, it just...
Yeah, we were just classmates. We were not good friends back then.
Yeah.
We used to talk and then maybe help each other whenever we did. But we were not as close as we are right now. Like, we all had different friend group and then... Not different friend group.
I think we used to hang out, like, you know, weekends, I think, together.
Yeah.
I think we used to sit even near each other. But then
we
used
didn't
to not
speak about
we're
all
not
the
very
stuff.
personal about everything. Like, okay, we hang out together, but we were never like the closest of friends since the first get-go. Yeah, it took time. I mean, obviously, you know. Then
first impression.
First impressions. Okay, let's start with Ranno because we've already went into it.
Yeah.
So Ranno, I felt like she was very loud and very bold and then confident. And when I got to know about her story, like she just learned English and she was already so good at it, and she was working on her handwriting back then, and she did good on her test also. I was really proud. I was like, wow, yeah, that's my first impression. Oh, and one more thing, she was very bossy also. She used to tell me this, okay? So our rooms were beside each other. I used to, get up early in the morning and study those days. And she was like, oh, you get up in the morning? After you get up, come and wake me up, okay? So every morning, I had to get out of bed and I had to knock on her door, okay? Because she told me to do it. And she wouldn't get up. No, I had to do it again and again.
But in my head, okay, it wasn't like, I am bossy. I was like, oh, you're a friend like a family. Just wake me up.
For me, for Rano, I didn't think like that. Like what I remember very clearly, she was standing in the classroom's door and she was waiting for permission or something, and then she was like, I felt she was so shy, okay, or like she was a new kid, and I could see that a little shyness, a little bit scary, those kind of feelings in her, like, and then she came and she sat immediately. She went at the back of the class and then she sat alone, okay. It was like a poor girl thing,
and everybody's looking, and then in front of me there was two classmates. They called me up, like, come, and then I went and I sat, but it's still like everybody is looking, and I felt okay, now everybody is looking, I have to be more confident,
but then,
I should not.
I felt like, oh no, she came late, she doesn't have friends. I felt like that.
It was I thought also, like, it's gonna be very hard because, like, I came so late and everybody already in groups sitting, like, I can see it.
So then after that, the first time I talked to her maybe was in the same day, like when I called you for the same graduation thingy, and then I felt like, okay, she talks. It took a time for her to open up. Like she wasn't like cheerful or like very open about everything as people assume. Like people assume you to be very spoken, like you speak to everybody, but you were not like that. Like the first time I got to know you, you were like very closed, and it took time, and that's it.
Okay. So.
Okay, let's do Datta's.
Okay. Okay, my first impression about Datta. So, first day when I met her, it was in the class. No, not in the class, when I came to your room.
No, I took your number.
Yeah.
In the class.
I don't remember all the small details.
No, I remember because I still have the picture because I took your number. And I was like, I need to put a picture for you. So I took a picture right away, and then...
I remember that. Yeah, I said, can I take a picture? Yeah. And then, so I don't remember you then, okay, but I remember you were talking to me in the class.
That
moment.
part I remember.
Yeah.
Then immediately I jump cut to my room.
Even me, when I went to their room, right? I thought like, they are so sweet because like it was like I just came, and then second day was the graduation, and I have to go. So I was planning not to go because I was like, I'm so alone. But then when she called me, okay, come, and then she met me in the stairs again. I say, oh, come to my room, okay. And then when I went, they were so sweet. They want to know me, and they like, I feel like, like you directly make me like, okay, like feel comfortable, like, be safe, like, you are safe here or something like that. I felt. So my first impression, it was like, she's a quiet person and very sweet, and yeah, she don't talk much, but then if she sees somebody needs something, she's gonna help that person. That's what I felt like, my first impression about her.
Mine was really different though. When I first saw Datta, I think it was in the hostel, because you guys were already settled down with the roommate. I came a little bit later, so I came in, and then my roommate came, and then she hugged me and she greeted me, and then you were also with her. Then when I saw you, I didn't think so much, okay, first of all, because there was already so much going in my head. Like, I just left my father and I was crying and coming. I didn't think so much. But like later, I got to know you were very quiet. You were very closed off, I felt. Like, you didn't really talk to anyone. Even in class, you used to be like a little quiet and very conscious about your looks, I felt. Like, you always be touching your hair, and then...
No, but I felt like even if I have that hair now, I will be touching it. It needs, that thing. Yeah, but I get it, yeah, those times, yeah.
So very, like, conscious about it. And then, even your voice was very, very, like, I don't know how to put it in words. It was very, like, solid, There was no quivering or anything. You looked very put together back then too. And then, I think that's it. I didn't think so much.
For me, about Vinci, I was in hostel, and my roommate already knew her, so she was on a video call with you. Yeah, and she was, kind of telling me like, this is going to be my roommate, and I was just like listening to the call, and I think that was how I first got to know you. And you were just talking about, oh, how is it, and what should I bring, all that kind of talk. And I was like, oh, she's not, I thought the person who was coming to be her roommate was going to be very like, very, how do I put it? Just not like you. I'll describe you, and just like I was expecting the complete opposite. Like, what I got to know, she's very sweet. Like, that's what my first impression was. I could hear the voice, and your voice is very sweet, right? So I felt like, oh, she's not gonna be how I was expecting. And then you came that day, and I saw her like, oh my god, like you're like so small, and then cute, and then you looked like a baby back then. And then I was like, okay, she's not...
Oh yeah, my short hair.
Yeah, you had short hair, and then you came wearing the kurti, and then you told the kurti story, like why you packed the kurti, you remember? And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because she told me, my roommate told me, you have to get kurtis. In my head, I was like, whole kurta, and I wore the shawl, kurta, and all the Punjabis thing, and I was running.
So that was my first time, and it was like, there was no hesitance, like, it was just like, okay, she's sweet, that's it. Yeah, like, I didn't feel like she's closed or anything, like, you can talk to her. Yeah, like, very open to friends.
Yeah, and because, like, we're all from the same country, there was
no language barrier. Like,
so I think our group was the first group, like, we all interacted with. That's why it was just like,
you
didn't think
have
so
to,
much of it.
Yeah, like, when you change your language, then you have to think like, okay, how am I putting off? Because I feel when you're changing the language, you're also changing your personality in some way. Like, it changes.
Yeah, a little bit.
It changes.
Exactly.
And because we then have to do that, it came up more easily.
Yeah.
So my first impression about Minchi, It was like, I think. Okay, so I don't remember the first time I met. No, I think it was in the class also. So even like I don't remember. Okay, it was just in the class. I don't like. She came and she said hi to me and like talked to me. Oh, how are you? What is your name? That's it. But then I think like I felt I a little bit know her when like I started staying beside her room. Then I felt like, oh, she's very sweet, very cute person, very sweet. Like you can talk to her. Like if you talk, she will talk. Like you can talk. Like not. I felt like more like Data. I can talk to her. Like she can give an yeah.
So when we got to know each other in the first year, we were all very different individuals. Like now, I think we blended into each other some way, but back then it was like we were on different levels.
We were really just kids. We were only 18 back then.
Yeah, we were very on different levels of stupidity. Really, maybe Rana was less, or like maybe she was on a higher level and was watching us. Watching down on us. But I can assure I was like very down.
Really, everyone. I feel like we really grew up a lot.
Yeah, and now looking back to how I was, or like how we were in a group, I feel like what were we doing? Yeah. Really, like that was how I was, but then it's okay, it's a natural process. I'll give myself that, okay?
But back then I never thought, three of us sitting together and having a real conversation like this. Like it was just like we were friends, but we weren't that good of a friend too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And back then, I didn't feel like we cared about conversations. Like, it was like
about like
fun.
Yeah, outgoing people, be like them, and then try to have more fun, try to go out,
Exactly.
For me, it was like drink, this, that. It wasn't about real connection. I only started valuing it more after all the things that I went through in these 4 years.
For me, I feel like that time it was just wasting of time. I feel like now, how to put it on? So like, I feel like now it's like we are more talking. I feel like we just grew up and we know what to talk. I feel like it's not like because whatever happened to us, and it's just we grew up and we know now what to talk. I feel like it just was time wasting more than like it just was fun, time wasting like that. We never like thought about something and then talk about it. We just just be art, like just have fun and don't think about anything. And sometimes I feel like some of us we used to be very stubborn about what, like it have to be like that. But now I feel like we are really very open.
Yeah, and what I remember how I was back then was I was very rigid on my opinions, like very stubborn on how I used to think, and I was a very right and wrong person. Like there was no middle ground for me. And right now, from where I stand, I feel like anything has more than one side. Like I know there's more depth to anything that I talk about, and the fluidity that I have right now, it was just not there. Like the world is either right or wrong.
And if the other person is not taking my opinion, that person is wrong. How can you think about it like that?
Exactly.
But you really changed a lot.
I think all of us should.
All of us. But then I can see the change on you.
Completely opposite for me. For me, I was just a kid, okay? I've always been that kid who used to, just stay home and do nothing and be a very obedient kid, whatever mom and dad says, just that. So I never had opinions about anything, okay? I was so easy to like push around. Anyone says anything, I would just be like, oh, okay. And then from that, I had to change into a person who can, speak out. So for me, it was a little different. My growth story. Yeah.
For me, like when, like in the beginning, right, I kept in my mind because I'm coming in different country, different people, so I have to be open-minded even though in bottom of my heart some of the time, like, I wasn't open, but then if I listen to sometime, I used to listen to some, okay, if it's like that, okay, like I should. And I feel like, that helped me so much, that like, how I am right now also, like be open about, like,
Yeah, you were definitely more mature. That's what we tell her, right? The mother of the group.
I remember, like, the taxi driver who dropped me to my college, he was a very nice guy, okay? So he was with us while my parents were here for the week, right? So we were roaming around this whole city, and on the last day, he came to drop me off, okay? So he took me aside and he told me, like, you need to change, okay? Like, not in a change like the way you guys are telling me, like the way I change. He said, you have to speak up, or else here in this country they will just step over you and then get work done, okay? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I did not take it seriously, or I didn't understand what he was trying to tell me, okay? So I did not put much thought on it. But now when I've spent so many years here in this country, I feel like maybe he saw it, like, maybe he saw it in me like that.
Maybe he's been through it too.
Maybe, but he was from this place, so maybe he was just trying to tell me that this is a different place, and the way I was is not going to work here. Yeah, and I think for him as an old taxi guy, I think he, like, just out of experience, he could see it, and then he thought, like, me, I just need this information, like, I need this tip. And then I did not take it seriously. It didn't even come to my head that, what he's saying is, like, I need to take the tip and then change myself. I did not, but then now I get it. I get what he was trying to say.
If anyone did say something like that, we would just laugh it off.
Exactly.
Like, what is he talking about? Enough about us. So how was the trip for you, Ranno?
Oh, I really enjoyed. This time I really enjoyed so much. I did stuff that I never done. So many activity, and it was really, really a good trip. I really enjoyed the trip. So what about you, Dutta?
Even for me, I can't say it was a really good trip, like maybe the best I ever had. And when I was swimming in the middle of the ocean, I was like, okay, this is it. Like, nothing will ever top this. Nothing that has happened in the past will ever top this. I mean, but the whole situation with my phone, it was a little bit sad. I was like, I could not enjoy it, but I felt like a relief about that. I need to enjoy it, like, I need to forget about it. So I was constantly having this battle in my head, like, okay, forget about that, just enjoy. Forget about that, just enjoy.
Yeah.
Like that. Otherwise, it was good.
Just for the context, we just came back from our Goa trip, which was
last week.
Yeah.
And we all had a good time.
Yeah. You know what? If I go, like, I enjoy it so much because, like, I can just be. Like, if I go with my family, they're never gonna be with me in the middle of the ocean. Never.
Oh, yeah.
Like, here I just, like, because I'm with my friend and I see them doing it, I have to do it. And then when I do it, I'm like, oh, it's really good.
Yeah, really. I felt like, I didn't think twice to jump.
Yeah.
I didn't think twice. I was like, okay, she's done it. She's already in it. I need to be there. Like,
exactly.
Just jump. And that was there. But I felt like, we were constantly, somebody or the other was constantly reminding that this is gonna be the last trip. trip. I was like, really, and I just forget about it. I never even thought about, like, this is gonna be the last trip, okay? And
I keep
the
remembering,
constant
and
reminder,
I have to
I was
enjoy.
like, what? Like, okay, you need to have fun because of this. Like, okay,
yeah,
it was
with me, I feel
pressure. It was pressurizing.
I mean, because of that, we had more fun. Because, like, we kept remembering, no, we should not waste time. Like, we should not sleep a lot. We should just do it. Like, do everything. So that's why, like, I feel like we enjoyed more. We did not want it to waste time because we felt like, this is the last trip.
Yeah. But I made a mistake. I don't know, something, sadness wave hit me on the last day. I was just so down. It was funny. It's funny when I think about it now. It's like, I know.
No, I was making, so when we were on the beach, right, I was making sand bombs and I was throwing at sad people. But I didn't want it to throw at Vinci because I was like, I don't know, what if she gets angry? I was like throwing at
the deep sadness.
and she was too immersed in that sadness, okay. But I was like hitting those bombs at Rano and everybody else who was on the trip, and it was fun, okay. But the sadness wave was everywhere. I mean,
And then
it was everywhere.
Yeah.
It was like everybody was fighting through it. Even the happier ones were like fighting through it. It's like I don't want to drown in it. More like that. So I think because of that too, you know, when I think back, it's still like.
It was a lot of mixed emotions.
Yeah,
for
it
me.
was.
Yeah.
Like
Up and down.
first day was like excitement. Second day was full joy.
Yeah.
The
It
whole
was very-
activity, yeah, the boat ride, everything. It was just like adrenaline over adrenaline. So that was
Yeah.
good. Last day was very sad for me, gloomy. Then the train ride was also fun. So overall, I would say I would give it like a solid 9 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah, even me.
Even for me.
And the trip before this, that was also one of my best trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that
Oh,
was
yeah,
more
what-
relaxing.
That
Yes,
was
that was-
relaxing.
yeah.
Like I feel like we get this time. I feel we did activity. We enjoyed. Like we met our body. That we like just leave.
No, not just the activity. We were doing. Even back then, we did not rest. Okay.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was
Something about
mentally.
something
Yeah.
It
about
was
that.
calming that side.
Yeah.
It was like we didn't travel a lot. We were just in one area, and then we were just going to the beach, having fun, coming back.
Yeah.
Just talking.
Yeah.
And we wasn't thinking about time. This time we was thinking
Or
about
money.
Yeah.
Last time.
Last time,
Last time we were
were
just
like-
spending on food like it's
Yeah,
nothing.
but this time about the food, I was really upset. Like
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
really upset about the food. Yeah.
Food was not that good.
Yeah,
and I
even
asked
me.
other people. Okay, I asked like, is that how Goa food
Even
tastes?
me.
They said no.
What? This is yes. I told my friend, okay, and the friend's friend is from Goa. So I was like, I didn't like the food at all. Like it was very bland and there's no spice. And we tried 2-3 restaurants and the food everywhere was the same. And she was like, yeah, like the friend's friend said she's like that. Like she cannot tolerate spices. And I was like, is it? Like if
Okay.
she's like that, like because she grew up in there, right?
Yeah.
And that's the kind of food she eats, and that's why she can't tolerate spice. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. I mean, if the person was having that food all their life, I get it.
But I asked someone again.
Okay.
He's not from Goa, but then he's from India. So
Okay.
I asked him, and he said, maybe you guys didn't, go to a good place. But we tried like few
We
restaurants.
tried the
didn't
cheaper
like
ones,
it.
we tried the expensive
Expensive
ones.
ones.
Like everybody
Yeah.
tasted the same food.
Yes, and
I
it's
was
very less quantity.
yeah.
Exactly.
And the fish curry we tried in the expensive restaurant,
It was.
and the fish curry.
So bitter.
You guys remember the fish curry we tried in the cheaper one?
Yeah.
It was the same.
Yeah.
It
exactly.
was the same.
Everything.
Yeah.
I think I like the
pricier
cheaper
one-
more than the expensive
Yeah,
one.
pricier one was very bitter.
plain.
Like,
Yeah.
It was good.
I didn't want to put it in my
Yeah.
mouth. I was so hungry.
We have to eat just to fill our
Yeah,
stomach.
but I felt like it was kind of the same.
No, I felt
Yeah.
the cheaper it was better.
Better?
And the only
For me,
food
it
that
was
I
the
felt like
same.
okay, it was little bit good. It was the room one, the
Yeah,
one that we
the hotel.
ordered.
But I'm
Yeah.
telling you, they did not cook it in the Goan style.
Okay.
They did
Oh,
not.
that's
That was
why.
not the Goan style. You remember it
Okay.
was chips chili, but with
It-
prawns.
prawns,
It's not
exactly.
like it's not traditional. That's why we liked it. We ordered like we didn't order daring foods.
We
ordered,
just
like,
ordered
what
whatever
we know. What
exactly.
we know. That's why we enjoyed it.
The squid thing that we tried in the restaurant that was near
Oh
our
my
hotel.
God.
What was it? It was
It
so
was-
plain.
it was-
It was just like
Oh yeah.
there was a squid.
That was
thing.
squid. Yeah, that was squid.
It was so
Oh
plain.
my god.
I missed last time seafood like
Good.
very bad.
Exactly.
Right? I'm trying to go back and remember the taste of it.
It was so good when
It was
we had
good.
the
Uh-huh.
seafood.
Everything,
Yeah.
and we tried a lot of new things there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about this trip only the food was not good.
And the
Yeah.
And the waves.
The waves?
The sadness waves.
The sand? Oh yeah, the beach was very salty.
Very salty, very salty.
I mean, of course, the beach is supposed to be salty.
But then
last time, what we experienced was completely different.
Different.
It was like the skin was glistening.
Conditioning.
Yeah,
Hair
was moisturized, soft hair. But this time was all dry and rough.
And the difference for me, the last trip and this trip, I did more things, more activities this time, but the last trip was still better than this one for me. Like I could relax. Here, I don't know, there was some kind of pressure.
It was rushing around.
Yeah, I felt like,
and maybe
it's
it was
about
because
time.
this is a bigger place and we had to cover more things in the last one. So I felt like if we had taken more days here, it would have been better. For me.
For me, I feel like you're right, okay? But then I feel like it's not about big place and small place, okay? Here we did not land. It's just we want to go for a beach. But here we already have a list of places that we want to cover. So we have to rush up always, There's no time. But in that place, okay, we don't have a list of places. We just go. If something come up, we just go.
Yeah.
So that's why, you feel that pressure.
I think I'm more like that kind of person than just flowing. You're not
Actually,
having
I love both the trips, okay? And
no, I love it too.
Yeah, and I feel like, that trip was like, I wanted to do the first trip also, just relax, don't mention any time, just do in calming way, dress up in calming way, go out, come back, relax. I want to do that, and I feel like sometimes I really need that. And even this trip, I feel like sometimes my body need this trip, just chop, yeah, play, do something.
Yeah, I wouldn't have mind this trip if it was on many days. If we had more days.
I don't have time to spare.
Oh, for you? No, not like that. I mean, later in future, if
I would not want to spend this kind of trip more days. No, I feel like I'll be very sad in the end.
Really? For me, I feel like I want to go to one place, come back and relax, and not worry. Oh, I still have one more thing to do.
No, maybe I don't know, but I feel like if it was more than these days, I'm gonna be
Oh.
Maybe one more day. If that I might, let's go back.
Oh, I like the last day. Okay, I was fine. We were doing chop. We were going to the fort, and then we went to the beach.
Yeah.
Then we went to lunch, and then
we went to this big
what?
Church.
Yeah,
and
then we
before
went
that
to the beach again.
Yeah.
And the last day was fine, okay, because I can't imagine me spending more time than we did in those places, okay. But I couldn't run to the beach whenever I wanted to because and after the fort I was dying for a beach. If I could do whatever I wanted, I would go back to the hotel, go and run to the beach.
Okay.
That's what I would do, okay. So that was not there.
For me, this was enough because I had a lot of things to do after I come back. So, I couldn't afford more than 3 days for this trip. As soon as I came back, I was already starting to think about, what should I do now? I have to go wash all my clothes. I have to start packing, and then I have to shift in a few days. I have to go to the hospitals, talk to them. So yeah, I still haven't done most of it. I have a lot to do.
So when are you shifting?
I might shift on 2nd of February. Yeah, but I'm not sure because it depends on the hospital. When are they taking me in? Yeah.
Are you excited to shift?
Yeah, I was really nervous, right? I told you guys also, I came spoke to you. And after you guys told me, this might be a new chapter of my life, then I started to think about it in that light. Then I was like, yeah, it could be fun. I might, experience some new thing. Yeah. And then there'll be more to talk about also in this podcast if I stay outside. So, yeah, I am excited. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll finish it up, we'll wrap it up for now. we're going to post our videos every Wednesday. And if you guys want to hear more from us, then subscribe to our channel, Hanging Out Overload. So please like,
share,
subscribe.
and goodbye.